We have multiple roster moves to report today as Ryan Poles signed 3 players. Jack Sanborn is going to the IR. Tevin Jenkins returns to practice. A full injury report and updates on every player signed. Let's get right into it. First off, the great news: Tevin Jenkins has been medically cleared by doctors and has returned to the building and did participate in practice today. Flus said he looks great. He's currently day-to-day. I do not expect him to play this weekend, but I'm so glad he's okay. It's incredibly encouraging news. I've been worried sick about Tev ever since Sunday. He's also one of my favorite players on the team, so it's awesome to report that he's doing good. Eberflus actually sounded pretty optimistic that Tev will play again this season. I'm perfectly fine resting Tev for the rest of this year. I want him to be 110% for next season. I'm so happy to hear he's okay though. In today's practice, he returned in a limited fashion. It's just great news for Tev overall. The bad news is with Jack Sanborn, who has an ankle injury and is being placed on the injured reserve. It does just seem to be a high ankle sprain based on reports I've read. That would keep him out at least 3 weeks, but shouldn't have any effect on his long-term health or his status for the offseason. I believe Jack Sanborn has played well enough to earn a starting linebacker position next season. I think we should always bring in competition, but I feel like Sanborn is a definite starter next year and going into the future. Get well soon, Jack. And then other injury news here: Justin Jones and Riley Reef both missed practice with illnesses. Equanimous St. Brown, Kendall Vildor, Trayvon Wesco, and Cody Whitehair all missed practice as well. If you missed my video earlier, there are rumors that Cody Whitehair suffered a significant injury and could be out the rest of the year. It seems like they're still waiting for results, but stay tuned on that one. Jalen Johnson, N'Keal Harry, Larry Borum, and Josh Blackwell all got in full practices, while Chase Claypool and Tevin Jenkins were both limited in today's practice. To take Jack Sanborn's spot on the active roster, the Bears have signed linebacker Elijah Lee. We've also released defensive back Justin Lane and officially activated Khalil Herbert for return to the roster. So Jack Sanborn to the injured reserve and Justin Lane was released. Filling those spots are Khalil Herbert and newly signed linebacker Elijah Lee. He has good athleticism and elite explosion. He's a 26-year-old former 7th-round pick with the Vikings. He spent time with 6 different teams since 2017. He played in 5 games as a reserve linebacker for the Chiefs this year and started 6 games for the 49ers in 2018 and 2019. He played well in that time, recording 72 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 1 sack, and 2 forced fumbles. Another guy who's played well in limited opportunities in the NFL, but hasn't had many opportunities. He fits the low risk with potential reward possibilities. On top of that, Ryan Poles also added 2 other players to the practice squad today: linebacker Kuwani Dang and defensive end Terrell Lewis. Terrell Lewis was a 3rd-round pick in 2020 by the Los Angeles Rams. He's from Alabama, played outside linebacker and edge rusher, and it looks like the Bears want to try him at defensive end. He's a 6'5", 262-pound freak of an athlete and former #1 pass rush recruit out of high school. He didn't run at the combine due to an injury, so we don't have an RAS score on him or Dang, but he did attend for measurables and completed the vertical jump and broad jump, grading out elite in both areas and showing potentially elite athletic traits on film. He was a 5-star recruit at Alabama and ranked ahead of other pass rush prospects like Nick Bosa and Brian Burns. He never lived up to the hype at Alabama and had major injury issues, including a microfracture surgery and a torn ACL. Terrell Lewis is dripping with upside. He was an athletic freak with pure bend, to wreak havoc in opponents' backfields. You won't find many guys with Pro Bowl upside to sign to your practice squad. He was released by the Rams 5 days ago and went unclaimed. He has 7 starts and 6 sacks in 3 years for the Rams, so it's surprising to see him let go and go unclaimed on waivers. It is very possible that his injuries have taken a toll on his body and he will never be the player that he had the potential to be, but considering how bad our pass rush is and the fact that Lewis is still only 24 years old and has 6 sacks and 7 starts, he's definitely worth taking a flyer on. I am very intrigued by this addition. And then the other guy that was signed to the practice squad, Kuwani Dang. He has no relation to Luol Deng. I've already looked. He's another athletic 6'6", 240-pound linebacker out of Cal. He's also only 24 years old, and he went undrafted out of this year's draft, but he's another guy who Ryan Poles wants to take a look at over the final 3 games of the season. I like it. I will say that Terrell Lewis is definitely the guy I'm most intrigued by, but linebacker Elijah Lee might have the best chance of getting on the field since he was added to the active roster. Quick recap here. Khalil Herbert is back. Tevin Jenkins is back to practice. Jack Sanborn placed on the IR. Justin Lane, the defensive back, was released. And then Poles signed linebacker Elijah Lee to the active roster and added highly touted young pass rusher Terrell Lewis and linebacker Kuwani Dang to the practice squad. Ryan Poles' tireless effort to improve this roster has resulted in a lot of project signings this year, but I loved this process. He's just searching for a couple diamonds in the rough, and then this offseason he is going to spend some money and bring in a ton more talent around Justin Fields. I am pumped. Today's moves just continue to show that Ryan Poles never sleeps, continuing to cycle guys in and out and seeing how they fit. Stay tuned. I'll be here covering the Bears every step of the way with daily videos. I'm going to be breaking down the All-22 film from the Bears-Eagles game, and I'm going to be watching some tape on the newly signed Bears. Don't forget to hit that like button, and until next time, bear down.